Good evening. Welcome to WooTube. My name's Baran Wu, and how are we all doing today? It's been hot here. Don't know if, well, I know that not everyone all around the world is going to have been hot today, but my word, was it warm in Bristol. And I think a lot of the UK actually. Pretty, pretty warm. Been a very warm weekend. I have a very sunburnt back. But we did go to an outdoor pool, which was really quite pleasant. Very, very fun. Um, how was everyone else's weekend? Hope you had a good time. So quick bit of I didn't really manage to look through. Normally, I kind of tend to glance through Netrunner DB on a Sunday or a Monday. I didn't really have much time to today. But quick shout out to Jai, fellow drop bear who uh, played Intercontinentals this weekend. Got through to the final three, came third, bowing out in a pretty spectacular fashion. I think turn three, maybe, which is quite a way to go. It might have been turn two, can't remember, but either way, he's not upset about it, so I'm sure he won't mind bringing that up. But this was his corp list, which went undefeated on the day. Really fun, kind of using B1001 as kind of tag punishment, forcing you through fun houses, and then just bouncing you back. And yeah, this feels like a pretty fun kind of. I say fun. It feels like more fun than a Bladderwort deck, and I've seen most people kind of moving away from Bladderworts, which is maybe a good thing. It's I don't know. There's something about Bladderwort decks. I enjoyed them when Bladderwort was first revealed, and I've gone off them ever since. Yeah, it kind of feels a bit grindy at the time. Also, shout out to this deck, which if you watched last week's stream, you might have seen me play against this. So I had Podrick on a Narco Mushroom. I played some Eternal, and she played this deck against me. It has a hilarious interaction where if you missed it, you use Surat City Grid and Vovo to res a bloop on a server, de-resing a different bloop on that server, and then re-resing a bloop with Surat City Grid on the server. And because Surat and Vovo combine, then you're resing it for free and de-resing the other one and re-resing and de-resing, and you have a Cyber Sands Harvester in the server or a server, probably the same one as well, which is ticking up, and you've installed all of them with shipment from Mirrormorph. And you can do this eternally, very appropriate. But you know, an unlimited number of times if you wish. End up with an unlimited number of credits on the Cyber Sand Harvester, which you then pop, and you then can score behind like unlimited power vanilla. Using your sandbag. Also, if you have an Echo resed, then the Echo's gonna have like 10 million subs as well. So good luck breaking that. Gia, how you doing? Hey Bart, are Geist decks any good in Eternal? I think Geist is potentially very good in Eternal. And I mean, we're on Eternal right now, and something happened after last week, and I played some more Eternal games online. I think I really enjoy Eternal. I think I might be starting to really like it. I've joined the Eternal League. I have been like brewing Eternal decks. I think Geist has got some really good tools fairly recently. Just in like No Free Lunch is a great card for Geist. Like gain free credits, draw a card quickly, you can recur it, amazing. And even Stone Ship Chart Room, it's like just instantly draw free cards, gain. Oh, and when I say gain free credits, like you're probably gaining 6 because you've got tech traders down, all of that. So Geist definitely is something which I'm interested in building in Eternal, because there's some really cool stuff you could do. Like you could even import Hannah wheels, maybe, like get a ton of clicks as well, drawing cards, gaining money, recycle your Hannah wheels with a back or whatever you're doing. But yeah, I think Geist is definitely interesting, and is probably like at least close to unkillable, because you can probably draw outside of like Orb combo, which can just do a ridiculous number of damage. You can probably draw enough cards to sort of survive most things. But yeah. So speaking of Eternal, so this is what I've been building. Any plans for Sunday? Yeah, I think it's the Eternal tournament this Sunday, isn't it? I can't remember what time it is BST. Let's pull it up now. Actually, let's have a quick look, because I do actually want to play in it, and I need to check for myself. And I'm hoping that I can. It is where are we? Where are we? Blog. There is something else happening on Sunday which I'm kind of meant to be going to, but let's see. Eternal deck lists. That's probably got. Did I miss it? Oh, it'll be in here somewhere, I think. I think this is the more North America friendly time, but I think that's fine. That's actually better for me if it starts in the evening. This one, 5 p.m. UTC for me, which I think is better for me. Either way, like, yeah. Am I UTC +1 right now? I can't wipe missing out. But this is like very, very possible. So I might hopefully play, because I have been really enjoying building Eternal decks. This is what I'm currently creating. This is Eternal World Tree Woo. Had a little moment where I had to text Podrig when I realised that the other day that World Tree is not unique. You can put 2 of these things down. 96, yeah, I might actually be cutting it down a little bit. But this feels like somewhat consistent enough. Like it's World Tree, it's fine. But yeah, you can trigger 2 of these things. That is nuts. And I just hosted both some leprechauns, so I don't need to worry about the MU issues. Yeah, I probably like need to trim this down a little bit. It's all just theory tested at the moment, but there's some really fun things like Slap Vandal in Woo is like nuts. Like this, I wish this was just a thing in just standard, but obviously we can't have Woo apparently. But yeah, so that's what I've been kind of brewing and really tempted to play. I've got one idea for a corp, but haven't kind of done that. Oh, this is a deck I wanted to shout out. So someone had a very similar idea to something which I've been playing with. Let's see if I can find it, because here we go. So Spark Sign posted this: ban World Tree and unban Woo. I mean, maybe. Like, World Tree has disappeared since Woo's gone. And I think there are still World Tree decks out there. Yeah, you can basically, the thing about World Tree Woo in Eternal is you can play all the tech. You can just put in all the tech, because you can just put in one ofs and you can find it. Like, what do I need for this matchup? I need Clop. Find a Clop. Find a Symbol chip or a clone chip. Find a Satcon. Done. What are you going to do? Like, purge like every single turn? Good luck. Find find a councilman, they can't even res and pop their virus or their cyberdex or whatever. Yeah. Do I need meat damage in this one? You just find your plascrete. Done. There are lost decks somewhere. So there are as in los decks somewhere. So being out there is not too much. I assume you mean Los, like the runner Los. That's interesting if so. Okay, so Spark Sign put out this deck here. Hulz this person who I can't pronounce their name, and they have given me sort of the call that no one can pronounce their name. This is the person here, Holtz Pub Unslubblib, who came up with the like marathon Ken deck with Ghost Tongue. So shout out to them. But Spark Sign here released this, and this is something that I'd been thinking about, which is that if you play Hippocamping Mechanocytes in Padma or with some other things, then this is like a hard counter to Keeling decks, right? Like really hard counter, because if you play Mechanocytes and you're Padma and you just run R&D once a turn, then you're giving yourself one extra hand size every turn. You completely cancel out their Keeling. Sorry, 2 seconds. But isn't Ice obsolete? What are you breaking with that monster rig? Oh, you're mainly not breaking ice with it, Tanuki. If I go back, let's see. Like there's programs in here, but like mainly you're just like, if they don't put any ice on if they don't put any ice down, then you're fine, because you install a conduit and at some point you install an up here and you start just running R&D like 5 clicks a turn, and they can't win because you've taken away all their win cons, so they've got to play some ice. I'll probably end up dropping some of these icebreakers because I don't need them all, but we shall see. Might end up on just like maybe like 3 whatchamacallit, Atman, like possibly like Atman, and then something like I've got stuff to deal with most of our ice. Anyway, so sorry, Spark Sign. Spark Sign put this out, which I thought was really, really interesting, and I think they've got some good ideas. The deck needed tweaking a little bit in my mind. It's like kind of interesting that they're on 2 each of the breakers, with also self-modifying code and symbol chip, which I think, and into the depths when you can find them. So I think like some things here can definitely be trimmed down, but there's definitely an idea here. So I had built a version of this in Padma, which I tested out, and it did all right. So this was my version. I wanted some extra things to charge. The nukers are good, but I was also playing Poison Vial, because Poison Vial plus Slap Vandal is an amazing way to deal with Bran and Anansi, which are both kind of challenging ice in a variety of matchups. So charging a Poison Vial turned out to be very, very good. Obviously, I've got my Mechanocyte, so I can charge that and just like say no to Keeling. Also potentially say no to some like combo kill decks if I can just give myself a hand size of about 8 and like what you're going to do. So that was quite fun. And I liked this. Played a couple of games with it. But then I actually pivoted because I think it's potentially more powerful in Arasana. Because in Arasana we can play Flux Capacitor, getting our Arasana value there. Obviously we've still got this Poison Vial, Slap Vandal fun, and like I remember building a deck with Slap Vandal and Poison Vial when it first came out, but I think I knew less about building Arasana back then and it didn't work. But this one seems to be doing some stuff. We've got Prognostic Q Loop because we've got ton of hardware programs. I love this card anyway. It speeds us right up. And yeah, this was pretty fun. I think that Flux Capacitor might be like, I had to cut the Kaya bands, but I've been, as much as I love this card, I have not been getting that much value from Kaya bands. Now, the big bonus with Kaya bands is that it works on unres dice, whereas Flux Capacitor you have to break something, which makes it a little more tricky to use. It's like often you have to put like a Flux Capacitor and a Slap Vandal on something so that you can charge it, and then you can use Poison Belt, like, and then obviously they just trash that ice, because the correct thing to do in that circumstance is trash the ice. So you kind of can't get your Flux Capacitor going until you're a little bit too far in the late game. So I need to kind of work out how to do this. Like, maybe I need to be on, I might need to be on like Engolo, which feels expensive, but like you might need a way of breaking ice earlier that is not a Slap Vandal. So there's a little bit like Kyoban. Try saying it like Cuban. 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 Is that how it is? Cuban. Interesting. I guess so. Cuban. Anyway, this seemed like really fun, and I managed to win a game against a Keeling deck. I found my Hippocampic like turn 2, and then I couldn't find either a Flux Capacitor or an SMC, and I do have 2 SMCs in here. I couldn't find a way of charging the thing until they had a Keeling with 5 counters on it. So I was down to like 0 hand size, basically. That's when I found my my Flux Capacitor. I managed to like I was running R&D like once a turn, charging my Hippocampic, breaking an Anansi with a Slap Vandal and a Poison Vial. They kept putting new ice on it. I kept having to check the new ice just so that I could keep charging my Hippocampic Mechanicize. But I did win that game. I think Keeling had about 8 counters on it by the end. So, you know, this is like fun. It worked. It worked a treat, in fact. Could be better, but I think Flux Capacitor is a card which I maybe want to experiment with a little bit more. It's also just really good with environmental testing, which is a good card anyway here, right? You installed Flux Capacitor, you can then, if you don't have a better target, you can always just charge your environmental testing, which is out, and you've got nukers and things like that. So there we go. That's what I've kind of been playing around with this week. Also been playing around with this. Azrisana. This is very fun. This needs a bit of tweaking, but like there's definitely something super fun here. Slap Vandals. Obviously, this is like inspired by this Flux Capacitor deck. But we've got Slap Vandals and Prognostic Q-Loop and Poison Vials in Az. You can really almost always land a like diversion of funds whenever. Hey, dear Jenny, how you doing? I'm genuinely considering cutting the actual breakers from this deck, but I think I then lose to a couple of things, so like I probably can't quite do that. But yeah, this felt great. This felt great in a game where I was this felt great in a game where I accidentally forgot to put in the 3 boomerangs, and it still worked. So very, very good. Today, dear Jenny, we won't be playing Lily Ari. Hey Swifty, how you doing? Any thoughts on a non-endurance and non-Drago startup decks for the Aldershot event on the 30th? Well, non-endurance, you can always play Essa. Essa is very non-endurance and is good in startup. Otherwise, like Arasana, I mean, weirdly, Arasana with endurance is probably really good. Like, really good. Whether there is enough, because then you play Flux Capacitor. Damn. I was gonna. So yeah, maybe you do just want to play endurance in Arizona, because otherwise you could just play. You could play Lilypad Arizona. You probably. Oh no, Propeller Palangi is really good. Yeah, but Palangi's not still startup. I don't think. I don't think. Um, Otherwise, Swifty play Kit. No, they want to be on endurance too. That's a shame because there's some like you can definitely do some nutty deep dive stuff. Um, okay, I've got it. So you want to play? This is the yeah. Here's the deck. I think I might have built it at some point, but not tested it. Yeah. This is what you want to play. This isn't. Here we go. Okay. Start up Deep Dive Essa. You have 2 copies of Deep Dive, 1 copy of Pikachu. Icebreakers, questionable, but I think this is fine. Whether like you might need actual icebreakers, who knows? You've got Bankar, and you've actually only running like I'm on 47 cards and I whatever, but you've got 3 copies of Katorga, so you can play more deep dives. You've got 3 or 2 copies of Retrieval Run, so you can put the Pikachu, like you can install that on the archives run that you're then going to deep dive them on, so that you get your extra click. You've also got Running Hot as extra click options there. You've got Hannah Wheels as extra click options. There's basically just a lot of extra click options right now, especially if you're playing Anarch. So this is exactly what you should play. Screenshot it now and tell me how it does. Breaker Suite, questionable. I'll leave it up to you. This might be enough. Like, might be enough. Non-Drago is FAPD. If you want to, FAPD is what, like with wage workers? Yeah, probably. Court-wise, extra. Yeah. This is like this is a Dave deck. I think you can probably deep dive like twice in a turn with this deck and with extra clicks. So like this is why I think I started on just Mayflies and Botulus, because I think you could probably like lead up to a turn. You just kind of install your stuff and then you just win on one turn. But yeah, that's what you should play. I need to test this out at some point because I built it. I haven't tested it yet, but like the theory is very, very sound. Corpse, I don't know. I haven't built any. I think you just play R. Oh, but if you're playing R+, then you should be on Drago, shouldn't you? Like that. It's like you could play it without Drago. You could play it without Drago, but you should probably play at least one Drago. All right, but today, this is what we're going to play today. Or like, I need to adjust this. So I nearly took this to EMEA. Kind of glad I didn't, because the decks which I took actually did quite well. But this was like something very spicy, which I brewed with a whole load of new cards, and it was like a really good way of playing with some brand new cards. And the amount of synergies in this deck are insane. I really, really like the amount of synergistic stuff that's going on here. It does run a bit poor. This was originally meant to be a Thule deck, or Thule, but it was just too poor. It was just too poor. So it became a sports deck because money and draw is good. So this deck came out of like almost a bit of a mistake, or like how the deck ended up, because so my idea was that I wanted to play Oppo Research and give the player 4 tags. In the same turn, I would also play a Riot Suppression, so that they would have 3 less clicks, or they take a core damage. And if they take core damage, that's fine, because we're sports and we're playing ontological dependence. So this is turning this into a fast advance tool. But if they take 3 less clicks, then we play Oppo Research. They then have 4 tags, hopefully, and they have 1 click to clear them, which is very hard to do, even with, like, you need a no free lunch out and a Hannah Wheels. You might even need 2 to, like, clear them all. Anyway, you're pretty certain that they're going to end up with at least 2 tags, and then you can play Shipment from Vladisbursk, and score out like a Vitruvius with 2 counters. Or you could score out a 5-3 from hand. And we'll talk about this because this is a questionable card, but if you can score it, my word, is it insane. And this is like insane fast advance because it only costs 1 credit. You're basically making your money. Like, this is fast advance where you make money with sports. Pretty good. Now, because of this, like, for riot suppression to work, we have to have things which are must trashes. So that's why we're playing MCA austerity policy, because also, if they don't trash an MCA austerity policy, then we just fast advance out of Vitruvius with 2 counters or a salvo testing from hand. No worries. And originally, this deck was playing the thing that gives you core damage if you're tagged. It's an operation. Can't remember what it's called. Purple operation. It was like purple. We'll talk about the ice suite in a second yet, but yeah. It's the one that basically says like take a core damage, and you also have 1 less click, which is actually really good when you're potentially giving people 4 clicks, full tags. But I was really struggling with like slots and things like that. And originally I was on like 3 copies of Wage Workers, and I was playing Greasing the Palm, and I was playing Red Level Clearance and trying to sort of fast advance out that way as well. And I was just trying to work out how I could like get the right amount of tag punishment in whilst having slots and money. And then I read Greasing the Palm, and it says it's tag punishment. Hypoxia is exactly the card which I did originally have. This card is tag punishment, and I didn't miss that when it came out, but I just, you read this and you think, oh, that's like potentially nice if they like float tags from something else. But here we can give them tags, so all of a sudden we can like fast advance. Again, this is like fast advance 4 credits. Like I think we make 1 credit by doing this. Maybe it's neutral. No, I think we make 1 credit. So Greasing the Palm is like amazing in here. And it's also sometimes just a money asset, what have you. We're playing Jaguundies because this is a cool card. This potentially gives tags, which is something that we want to do. This potentially gives core damage, which is something we want to do because we're on ontological dependence. And it has a cool like fret mechanic, and often we're going to get to sort of fret pretty fast. And actually I cut the Nightmare Archives out because I wanted to get to fret 3 for Oppo research and potentially fret 4 for Jaguundi. And magnets, because magnet is good, and ablative barrier so we can get back our MCA austerity policies, and they just have to keep trashing stuff, and that means that our riot suppressions are like on more. We always have to like kind of force them to trash stuff or steal stuff, because we want, preferably trashing is better, because then we can play riot into Oppo. And that's kind of the deck. Now, I needed some anti like clot tech, and also there's a few things which really hurt the deck. For instance, Solidarity Badge is an issue. Simul Chip is an issue because of clot, etc. So I didn't have any influence when I made this, so I put in Escape Net, and actually Escape Net has been pretty sick. Also quite good at just getting rid of a twinning, which is seeing a lot more play right now, which will absolutely wreck you if you're not careful. So I quite like Escape Net. The problem is that this deck dies to like turtle decks. They walk over this ice. The Jaguundies will cost them an extra click once it gets to fret. But all of our ice is pretty low strength and is mostly just end of run. So I kind of want to adjust this a little bit. I also want to get more money in here because it does run a bit poor, and I want to get a couple of viruses in. So I'm throwing this open. Any matchup data into Hermes? Hermes is obviously an issue because we're on 11 agendas, but our ice is cheap enough to res, and we don't necessarily mind, like, I mean, Hermes into like doof is potentially an issue, but we often just have to eat some doofs anyway. Um, we can often res like the stuff that's on the table, and we're not playing that much ice. So it's like it's so. If they like Hermes us and then start conjuring us to death, then we're in problems. Um, and we also tend to not have. I've never really had time to purge, which is why I want to get some viruses in here. So we need more money and we need 2 viruses or some number of viruses. And I don't want to drop one of the shipments. So I think we're dropping 1 Oppo research. And because this kind of like isn't, we don't necessarily want to draw this first off. We can sometimes like tempo Oppo them, but that's normally not a winning play. So I think we're going to cut one of these, and because of that, we might be able to cut 1 riot suppression. Oh, and riot suppression as well, if you haven't noticed, so riot suppression plus MCA austerity policy is really good combo. Like, if they take 3 less clicks and then you click an MCA and you rob another click off them, and then you just install a luminal, like, out in the open. And, like, potentially, because of that, I would quite like to be on seamless launches so that we can get, like, a Vitruvius with a counter if that happens. I think I'm going to drop the wage workers. They do less in the deck now than they used to. People tend to like trash them on site because they assume they're going to do something really good. But without, like, we've only got 1 biotic, and without red levels, they just don't quite do enough. And we can't ever wage workers into an, like, Oppo research doesn't work very well with wage workers because we can't play free, like, this ends our phase. So normally we'd want to like play 3 operations like a riot suppression into a grease in the palm into an Oppo research and then do something else, but we can't because it's ended our turn. So I think I'm going to get rid of these. We need some better ice. I think we can drop, as much as I really like how neat this is, I think less people are playing Botulus, so we're going to play 2 Magna. I think we want the ablatives slightly later, so I think we can play 2. And then we play either Hagen's or we play everyone's favourite, Bran. Bran, quite good with MCA. Only quite good, though. Is quite good enough. Like, will we ever be able to res a Bran, or do we just play Hagen's? And then if we play, like, some number of Hagen's and we have, like, 2 viruses, then we might just be able to, like, kill a turtle here or there. Drafter is also a good option, and actually now you can definitely play 1 drafter. Is there one other? Oh, and then I wanted more money as well. Is it just more regular? So the tricky thing here is it regoliths, which was slightly better when I was playing wage workers? Is it just regoliths? Is that the best way of us, like? I think it might be. Could also, no. I think just 3 regoliths is probably fine. I think this is better than Marilyn. And I just because I don't think our ice is like taxing enough to hold. It's definitely probably not taxing enough to hold. I'd really like to play Nico campaign, but I don't think we can kind of keep them out with a Nico campaign. We're now up to 10 ice instead of 9, which is good. We have a little bit more money. Trank Grid is a good shout. Trank Grid is a good shout, actually. A very good shout. Um, kind of want to play more than one, but if we play two, I want to keep at least one biotic. I want all three MCAs. I really want all three MCAs. I think the agenda suite is correct as it is. So one Trank grid feels a bit ropey. We could drop Escape Net now because we have the viruses. Or is there like a one cost money cost? Do we play a predictive planogram? Maybe we play a predictive planogram. One virus? Do you need ScapeNet? Yeah, I wonder if we do, but it does also help with a couple of other things, and it also removes it. This removes stuff from the game, which is like people just assume it's trashy stuff, but this removes stuff from the game, which is actually really really useful. I think maybe we might play one Mavirus, play one predictive planogram, because then I can call the deck I predict a riot. That's a good enough reason, right? Oh, I wrote it in there. What a dumb. I hope it actually saved. It did. Right, predictive planogram. We'll play one. I predict a riot. Solid. Right, let's see if this feels like it's got a little bit more money. Da, da, da. Make sure that this is refreshed. Yeah, cool. Who else? Gia and I don't think I said hello to Axu and Tanuki D. Sorry, hello everyone. Um, Axu and Gia in particular. Are you playing Eternal on Sunday? I know you're both, or I feel like you've both dabbled in Eternal. Streaming. Is this gonna make? Um, did that work? It worked, but I'm not in the game. That's not a good sign. That's a really bad sign. Uh, oh, JNet, don't fail on me now. Oh, no. Ah. What happens when I join my own game? Oh, um, sorry, Gia. I thought you. Okay, this looks like it's kind of letting me select. Um, I was massively intimidated. I can highly recommend just like throwing yourself in. It's actually incredibly fun. Yeah, JNet is a little flaky. I'm like slightly unsure about whether this is this is like an actual game or not. Um, oh dear, zombie saying it. I managed to get a game in earlier, but then it did boot me out. Um, this is going to be a very sad stream if it really is unplayable. Um, let's hope so. I'm going to try and leave this. We're going to refresh. We're going to create another one. Oh dear. It's fine. It's gonna start working again perfectly right now. I can close to guarantee it. I mean, it's not letting me select the deck, but apart from that, yeah, there we go. Um, I do need to think about a corp for if I'm going to play Eternal on Sunday, and maybe it's Titan. I did build a Titan list. I have a very fun game. I think it was against Hill actually, who's currently playing. Um, yeah. I had what should have been a completely solid, like unlosable situation. Like I was Titan. I had 5 points. I had an Atlas counter. I had an Audacity, a Slash and Burn. I think also an Atlas in hand. Um, I had red level clearances in my deck. I think I even had a Cyberdex Virus Suite in my hand. Like, I mean, it was like completely unlosable situation, and I lost due to like triple Councilman. Um, yeah, like Councilman it turned out to be like the MVP. So they had Councilman and like Clotlock, but I'd like basically got rid of their Clotlock, but they kept like they kept reinstalling Councilmans um, from a world tree. And are we keeping this? We're against Essa. That's interesting. Maybe I keep this just because it's got an ontological in hand. Um, yeah, they kept having like either a councilman installed or like finding another one, and so whenever I res the Cyberdex virus suite, then they'd de-res it, and I was quite poor, and it was like a really hilarious game. Um, right, this we don't want to put out yet, so we'll put. Oh, it's a little slow tonight. It's a little slow. Maybe it just needs to warm up. We're gonna pop this on HQ, hopefully. And then I think we might just click for 2 credits. We might draw one, and yeah, Zombie. How did you do with building Titan FA? I like realized that I didn't really use very. Ooh, that's interesting. I didn't use very many points, like eternal points, but I did play 3 Spin Doctors and 3 Jacksons, and that was like all of my pointed cards, I think, because like everything else is kind of you've got a ton of influence. We'll trash. Do we trash an ablative? Probably not, because we get stuff back with it. We lost a Jaguandi. We lost an MCA. They're gonna see a Jaguandi and an MCA. They probably see a Jaguandi. Oh, I will try and open that link in a second, Zombie, and I will maybe do it in a separate screen. Not that I don't trust you. I completely trust you. Uh, I just, you know, might need to be a bit safe. Um, okay. Essa is the other runner. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad we kept our ablative then. Essa's the other runner I'm really interested in it. No, why are they running archives? Wanna take that last click back? Um, yeah, I've been having some fun building Essa in Eternal because I mean you can play like Stimhack for instance. No worries. Okay. So JNet is a bit slow, so I'm going to wait to see if they add a credit before I start my turn. Um, oh, they didn't steal the Hyperloop. That's a shame. I think we'll put these two out. Click for a credit. Seems fine. I want to keep one of these greasing the palms in hand, just in case. They put down a common because they have seen Jaguandis. They also don't want to lose it to any nonsense, I assume. Although, definitely could have made the run first. So here, do we score this Hyperloop or do we click the regolith 3 times? I think I might click the regolith 3 times because I'm kind of alright with them stealing the Hyperloop. Here's a fun thing you can do in Eternal. If you've got a Jeeves and a Wage Workers installed, you can like clear a regolith in one go. You just empty it. It's fun. Um, and you can like res it for free with a Mamba Temple. Now, there's better things that you should be doing with your turns in Eternal, but it's a thing. It's an option. We lost a Rashida. They installed a Bankar, so that's slightly annoying, especially as we don't want to res this ablative yet. We could score out. I think we just score out this Luminal from hand. And then like take some money. This is the one time we want a Wage Workers, but there we go. Well, it's not going to be the only time we want a Wage Workers. I think I draw here. I can click for 2, and then I can click for 6 redders. I mean, and then I can do something. Oh, and a hedge fund, or I probably put out the spin doctor, right? Because we've already lost 1. Now there is a good reason to actually keep a spin doctor in archives because we're playing ablative. And in fact, just putting like an ablative on archives is pretty sick. Next time weird having a Ravana fire, the Bran install start, but it kept installing inside the Bran. I wonder if that's correct. Having a Ravana. So if a Ravana fired and it did the install Bran sub, I think it should only fire once, right? Pretty sure. Sounds like a glitch. Okay, they steal this. That's fine. I think we draw because I really want to find an MCA. Slightly annoying that I haven't scored this out just because. The other thing is though, if they run the spin doctor, then I'm gonna have to draw anyway. Maybe I should have resed it on their way in so I could see it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna gain the money. At least I got a ton of money now. That just sounds like a JNet glitch zombie. Yeah, see, so here they run this guy. Will shuffle back to Spin Doctor. as much as I'd like to keep one in here. And I think probably the biotic actually. We're now like rich enough to just fast advance stuff out. So that's nice. Okay. Vishagen will eat their fermenter, but they will bank off through it. So, but if they bank off a remote, then they're not banking HQ, which I think is fine. So let's go here. And then do we push the Hyperloop behind the ice? Or do we push the Rashida behind the ice? And put the Hyperloop out in the open? I think we put the Rashida behind the ice. And we put a Hyperloop out in the open. Ravana fires, that should be correct. Ravana fires the sub on Bran. Yeah, but it would only do it once, right? I think. I would have to have the cards like right in front of me. This seems fine. Okay, they have ban cards for server. They don't have enough money to trash Rashida. I assume they pop this first. They don't pop this first. So we could just let them in here. We could just let them in. I don't think there's any reason not to. See if they run the Hyperloop. If they don't run the Hyperloop, then I think we score it out because I want to be at threat free. We'll just take money. It doesn't kill the fermenter because they ban card it. Otherwise, like 100%, yeah, we res it. We're gonna take money because we're gonna draw anyway, and I don't want to like massively overdraw. Certainly not against Essa. Well, the one thing that I said I wanted this deck to have was more money, and that seems to be working. Right, we can res and pop this. Da 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 da. I'd love to find an MCA austerity. No worries, Cokeslab. I mean, it's a classic of I've done it so many times when I'm like, oh yes, I'll res this drafter, and then they're like, cool, 2 net damage, please, and you feel really bad. Any minute now, Janet. Okay, what can we do with this hand? I think not much, unfortunately. I think we now have too much money. Do they have anything I can trash with this? No. No. I think we just like score a greasing the palm out behind an ablative, unfortunately, which is not gonna go off. And this Hagen. The question is whether we advance it once. They technically no, they can't. No, they can't get in here yet. I guess the other thing would have been to not pop Rashida and to purge. It feels pretty bad. We'll put this here. It's going to be a very sad ablative barrier. I'm also not on the 2 1s which would de-res these things, which think I decided I needed Hyperloop because I needed the money more. Um, but maybe we could look at playing the 2-1s because they're really good with ablative. Come on, come on, Jane. You can do it. You can do it. And then I think I advance, so I can jam something in here next turn. Like now is the time when I'm really sad that I've cut down to down to 2 Oppos because I'd quite like I'd quite like to draw one right now. I guess we can always like predictive 4-1. I'm keeping an escape net around because there's various things that they might install a symbol chip. We're on a build with like actual breakers. Esther sometimes struggles with the money to deal with. But I mean, they're going to pop this fermenter for 10, assuming they pop it. They probably should pop it. And they can get in here with like single botulus or just hard installing a fractor. At least the deck feels richer. I mean, I'm not playing against like 419, and I do seem to queue into a lot of 419 with this deck for some reason, which which is always a way to make your decks feel very, very poor. We are. Let's just check that we might have disconnected here. Oh no, right, this has changed, so that's like a good sign. This on me? I don't think this is me, but I also don't seem to be coming up in the chat. I'm gonna risk the reload. This is always scary because sometimes you just don't get back in. Oh, that's the game gone. No, it's there. Oh, it's only letting me watch it. Yeah, the reload was potentially a mistake. Might have to. We might have to stream a different night this week because this JNet is not having a good time. Yeah, it's not that is not a good time, is it? Oh no. And it's always a bad thing if it only gives you watch as an option. It's like you're probably not getting back in there because it doesn't think that I'm playing. Oh, boo. If anyone's around and on their computer and you can get into this game, could you let my opponent know that I have been locked out? Um, and maybe we might just have to look at doing a stream another night. It was actually JNet was working all right for me earlier. Well, we got to play half a game. Should we just theorycraft? Let's just theorycraft some Eternal Geist for a for a for a minute. We'll close J now. So, Jia asked earlier, is Geist good in Eternal? And the answer is I don't know, because although I've started enjoying Eternal, I've really not played very many Eternal games at all. But theoretically, yes. So I might need to bring up the like Eternal points list, which hopefully is here. Maybe it's this one. Sick. So runner stuff that we might want to play in Geist. Temi J seems pretty good. Probably not playing account Siphon because tags. Unless we're doing a way of dealing with that. I will give you I'll give you a sneak peek of my Titan because I haven't really tried it. Is there anything? Oh, crowdfunding. Crowdfunding would be very good in Geist. Crowdfunding is very good in anything. Any of these particularly great? Employee Strike is a good card, like anywhere, but whether we have slots for events. Aramaron is a good card anywhere. Maybe we're playing Amakua, but I think we're just kind of playing boomerangs and stuff. Blue Moose. Think we want to recur our stuff. Probably not Counter Surveillance. Probably not Deja Vu. We might play Film Critic. We're definitely playing Tech Traders. I don't think we're playing Snitch. So our pointed cards are basically mainly going to be Tech Traders. I need to do collection all. So we'll play 3 of them. Now, how do you do the little search for stuff which has a trash cost thing? Because there is a way of doing that, and I've never quite worked it out. It's like one of these. It says, I'm sure. These are all the equals. Card aliases are. I don't want this. I want. Is it just X trash? Trash cost. Let's try it. So if we put X. Oh, I guess then it searches the text, right? So it says trash. So it doesn't quite. Yeah, it kind of works. Right. We're probably playing spy cams, right? The unfortunate thing is this gives us anything which like says like trash stuff. Flip switch, like maybe, probably not actually. Probably. Anyway. What does Cortez ship? Choose a piece of ice. Definitely not that. We're probably playing boomerangs. I really liked AutoScript there. This is like also like have realized that extra clicks are just good in Eternal. So anything that gives us extra clicks might be pretty good. Maybe you could play like AutoScript at Arasana. That could be like nuts, right? That's a lot of clicks. We're probably not playing Forger. I think we're going to play Masterwork. Can you move us? Oh yeah. I need to do this. There we go. There we are. So yeah. I think I've done it. Hopefully, I've done it. Are we playing grappling hooks? Probably. Like these deal with a lot of stuff. So stuff in Eternal, Ice in Eternal, from what I can work out, either has one sub. It's something like Mother Goddess, for instance, or it has like a million subs, like Tour Guide. And Grappling Hook is technically good against stuff with a million subs, like Tour Guide, but maybe there's better options. God, this is quite hard to work out. Like, I don't know if we're playing. Maybe searching for stuff is wrong and we just start building and see what it looks like. Um, because it's probably stuff like Out of Faction, which is really going to break this open. Um, yeah, unfortunately, a lot of this stuff has the word trash on it. But right, we're definitely playing free no free lunch. I'm pretty sure that that's an incredibly good. Um, let's play it back. A load of stuff with trash costs. X Oh, okay. So X with these guys. A little bit better. I'm sure there is a thing for it, but I don't know what it is. Maxwell James. That's a good card, right? Or is it? Is it still good because they did errata it? So what can we? We can't do like the stupid busted thing with this anymore, right? Maybe it's still good. It gives us a link. Oh, I missed a thingy. No, I think it's got a thingy. Oh, after. I need one here. Is that right? X colon trash colon thing. Uh, unless is that a semicolon? No. I don't think that's working for me. Anyway, right. I'm just going to do this from like memory. I think that Stone Chip is probably really, really good. I think that we can get through most dice with Boomerang and that we play Masterwork. Like we play a bit more of like a. We definitely play at least two potentially three Q loops, and we just go for sort of super fast setup. Do we want to do like Bizarre so that we can get like we definitely want to play Simul Chips. What are we recurring with? Simul Chips? Do we? Are we playing like? Are we actually like? What's our win con? Like spy camera. Spy camera is all right, but it's not like I don't think it's a very good win con in. Like this is good for like free draw money, etc. Do we play Bazaar? Is the one big question. Like this is the like Haley thing where you but then you have to find them, so you have to play the other thing as well. What's the you play like uh I'll be damned if I can remember what this card is called. Replicator. So you can play Replicator and Bazaar, right? And then like you can just get um all of your spy cameras down in one click. Is that worth it? Maybe not. Um, what's our win con? I think that's the big question. Like, are we on medium? Do we play? So maybe we can like siphon them to dust because same old thing is like that's a click thing. Do we just again indexing has the same thing as spy cameras almost like you're kind of there's a lot of shuffle techniques in Eternal. Like you've got obviously Spin Doctors and Jackson Howards and Orb is very big and a lot of cards have like a lot of decks have ways of like screwing up order. So what's the like most powerful thing that you can do as a win con if you don't have to worry about like money? Like we could just siphon them a ton and play um like we could play a little bit of um Link, and we could play Citadel. That's also good tech anyway. Uh, and like Levy, is Levy better than the back? I mean, you can play at least one Levy. Kind of want a way of getting rid of one other tag for free. Amaku and Dean Lister, yeah. Yeah, that's like that plus that's the card I was trying to think of. Yeah, especially in Geist, that's like nutty. I want a way of we've got a lot of influence. We can play some clone chips, but then what are we cloning? Is the like big question. If we're not on more hardware than this, then we actually shouldn't be on Masterwork, so that's questionable. Also, like, mm, does Levy go against the whole like getting down to free boomerangs and just going nuts? Possibly. Is there a better? What other console would we play? Oh, we play Desperado, right? I guess. Just play for money. But is there like a win con that we can play in the form of? I don't know. Play that. More's probably not good enough. Um, might be able to play less than three. I guess we could play like self-modifying code, then we're literally only finding Amakua. Unless, okay, like, so, give me a, so, there must be Joshua for, yeah, oh, Fall Guy, of course. Fall Guy is very good. Um, I've already got a lot of cards. Uh, so I think the spy cameras might go. Then the prognostic Q loops should also go. Could play counter surveillance. So you go Joshua B, wireless net pavilion, Fall Guy, and then we play counter surveillances and account siphons. Is that better in Geist than it is in Max? Don't know. It might be. Um, or we just play it in like just play that in Laser. I want it to be like specifically Geist if we're building Geist. Um, I really want to play like clone chips, but I just don't know what we're cloning. That like I don't know what programs would be broken enough. I think it's it's like medium or bust, right? Do you just play free medium? Do we just play free medium? We've got 9 influence. Probably find mediums pretty quickly. We need free. Maybe we could play two clone chips. Um, Street Peddler. Street Peddler's really good. Oh, I miss Street Peddler. Sports Hopper. Sports Hopper's decent. I think Sports Hopper, if we're sticking on the Masterwork, I think I'm dropping the Masterwork, which means that I might be dropping the spy cameras. Hmm. Zombie got kicked out of his game. Wavioli, same as me actually. I was playing a game. I tried to refresh, and the game went bye bye. Um, yeah. Um, hmm. Okay, so are we siphoning and clearing the tags here? Yeah, probably. This is fine. We can clear tags with like no free lunches, citadels. Is there anything else that clear? Oh, and so we could use flip switches to clear the account siphon tags, which is a slight reason to play Masterwork. Is there anything better than Masterwork, like just Bravado? Not Bravado. I want a way of getting through tour guides, so I might play Hush too. Grappling hook deals with tour guide as long as we've got a way of breaking the final sub, but it also think I want a more permanent way, and Hush is just like just turns off. Hush deals with seemingly deals with quite a lot of ice in Eternal, just on its own. Maybe this is just too much draw. Can we drop the levy? Drop the levy. We're playing a back, so we've got a lot of stuff. Is this worth it with Masterwork? Do we need another way in? Um, Probably not. We've got boomerangs, right? Mm, boomerangs aren't all encompassing. Is there any way? Doing. We might have to play like a. If we're gonna like rely on the boomerangs, then we probably do need to be on like Masterwork, Q loop. Probably don't need three of these. We play like one leech. Oh, we've got Maxwell James. Not Maxwell James. We've got Dean Lister. So maybe Amakua is fine on its own. Should we be on Parasite? Influence is problematic now. So we could drop the Hush, play two Parasites, play a Leech. Drop the Hush, drop a. No, if we drop one. If we drop down to one medium, we don't quite. And we drop the Hush and we play a second Parasite. One medium, probably enough. D-Res Tour Guide, yeah, there's only 2 credits to re-res it. I love that our events is just free account siphon, nothing else. Um, Whether the spy cameras are worth it, hard to say, right? I guess they're all right. We install them potentially for a draw. We pop it for a draw and money. Do we want a way of finding our tech traders sooner? What happens if we lose our back? Like this is our only recursion. Maybe fine. Doesn't feel quite as like busted powerful. I mean, we've got like quite a lot of. I do want to be on one levy, but then we're like influence is real tight. Like we either have to cut street peddlers, which are probably amazing. Yeah, it's either Temujin or account siphon, and that's where I don't know what would be better, and like whether we even need that money. Like we kind of are breaking. Well, we're not like really breaking for anything. Like we're not breaking like ice. We break ice for plus money, right? Most of the time. Um, I guess we could get locked out here. Do we have to play some real breakers just in case? I think probably not. This is probably fine. Like masterwork is every turn, right? Like every run. So we could install a boomerang every single run once we're down to the end of our deck. And then we draw the other boomerang off. Yeah, so I think this is alright, and we'll just parasite ice. Uh 2 down? This feels fine. It's good tech. Do we need any other tech? We've got not much other tech in here. But we can draw like a ton of cards. DDoS is 2 points and has a trash can, but it's also free influence. Free influence is a lot of influence. It's a lot of influence. Like if we were on DDoS, I'd want to be on DDoS and like I don't know, Pikachu or something, so that we can like DDoS one turn and then run like a gajillion runs on R&D, and that maybe that's a decent shaper deck, to be quite honest. Siphon has a takeaway money part of it. Yeah. So Bruno, what's clone chip for right now, Gia? It's purely for Parasite and potentially the medium. Zombie, I think the only other points that I have in here are Tech Trader, Account Siphon, Tech Trader. We don't have any. We don't have a. What do you call it? We don't have a. We don't have a current, but I don't think that's a massive issue. I could just. Oh, Amakura is a point. Yeah, so we're at 4. Like we could technically run Temujins as well, but I just don't think. I don't know what we're doing with all that money. Um, like Temujin on R&D run 3 times with medium is a bit sick, but um, don't think like all of this is like Cipher would be the only other thing which we could consider. It's only 1 influence, which is nuts. We lose out on our masterwork though, which I think is our like. Oh yeah, we're on 5. Okay. Oh, well, 5 is pretty decent. What's the chances that JNet's running well enough for us to do an Eternal game? Probably not, right? um, this might be a thing. I feel like we can deal crowdfunding. Is crowdfunding better than spy cameras? Like, do we just play free spy cameras and free crowdfundings? Probably is better than spy cameras. Probably is better than spy cameras. Can we drop to less turtles than this? I might want. Might want like one other way to get past ice early. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe this is all right. I'd really like a like second leech. Like maybe we drop one bit street peddler for a leech, or we drop to 1 clone chip. Could drop to 1 clone chip. I feel like 1 clone chip might be fine. We can prognostic these out. Um, Crowdfunding is busto good. It is draw and money, and we're potentially going to run a lot. Are we going to run three? I don't know if we're going to run 3 times a turn. How much influence is indexing? Free influence. That's a shame. Because with like same old things, I'd be tempted to play like an indexing. Um, Leech isn't needed if we play. Leech is here for the parasites though, not for the Amakua. I mean, it's kind of here for the Amakua a little bit, but it's more here for the parasites. Dean Lister helps us with the Amakua, but not with the parasites. One I wonder if there's like a parasite monkey wrench deck. Bad idea. I guess we probably just play 2 of these guys. He is unique. Cut leech, add data sucker. Uh, I have a weird feeling that leech has a very very subtle. It's like almost exactly the same card, but I think it did one thing which data sucker didn't do. Because I remember when it was like near printed. Can't remember what that is. I think they are almost exactly the same, but the wording is ever so slightly different. So if I pull up data sucker, and I think the one time I can't remember what the interaction is, but there's one interaction where leech is slightly better for some reason. So data sucker says whenever you make a successful run, that bit is the same. Hosted virus counter. Resed piece of ice currently being encountered has -1 strength until the end of the encounter. Leech says the ice you're encountering gets -1 strength for the remainder of this encounter. No, they're not. I think there's something about Leech working on unresed ice, which I don't know what the interaction is, but there's some weird interaction uh, there, which is a thing. Um, oh, could you if we weren't playing Masterwork, like surely in Eternal there is um what's it called? What's it called? I mean, I know you should be probably playing Desperado, but you could also play new one, Leela in a console, because then you can play Leela in a console and Leela. Um, yeah, the like wording is very, very similar, but ever so slightly different. Um, Hermes, potentially some rude stuff you could do with Hermes. Like you could start. I mean, this is probably a different deck. You start off as Andy, and you rebirth into Leela, and you install a Hermes, and then you return their entire board to hand pretty much. Like you might even play reprise just for the memes. Um, yeah, you like return their entire board to hand. You account siphon them like twice, so they have no credits, and then you I don't know play something which reduces their hand size. Because data stacker says that the ice you're encountering must be res, there are some rare encounters where it cannot be used, such as yeah. So that was it. That is the one reason. If you encounter an archangel, or like sapper or something like that. Uh, so in what that one situation, leech is better. Because of that, we're using leech. Um, I think we play one less street peddler. Kind of want to keep the 2 clone chips. Something like that. Like second medium would be sick, but is maybe maybe uncalled for. Let's see what this like draws like. Um, do we have any like early money? No. Also, we were talking about maybe getting rid of the spy cameras. Probably correct. Um, okay, so this is a pretty sick first turn because you just go like um, Masterwork, which draws a card. That costs 2. You account siphon into HQ, installing the boomerang on the way in. Probably have to pop this. That draws a card. Um, you install a citadel and maybe clear 1 tag, or just let them ride the tag if you don't think they're going to pop up in money. Um, and then next turn, what you like go? Oh, you need to draw another boomerang now, so you'd go like draw, or like maybe run R&D or somewhere, installing a spy camera. Like you maybe draw for spy camera. You finally you draw again. You put down a full guy. That's like I'm already like feel like we're off to the races there. That feels pretty good. This is a much worse start. So we'd throw that back. This we'd install a street peddler, finding. Ooh, that's a little rough. We could siphon them if they don't ice HQ. We're assuming that they ice HQ. Um, this now we could always siphon them. Do this. But we need to like pop the street peddler to put the same old thing down to play it. So it's a bit ropey that start. Oh, we've actually got a tech trader here. That's quite nice. 3 Dean Lister feels like 1 too many Dean Lister. So we could cut down to 2. Maxwell James, I'm unsure about actually. This I don't think this is as good as it used to be. This feels right. Like probably draw just 1. Hmm. Do this. We run, looking at the top 2, see stuff that we can't sort. Oh, mate, our prognostic's not so good now, is it? There's not enough hardware for prognostic to be worth it. Or we play at most 1, so that we can maybe do some boomerang stuff. Maybe it's just a case of literally drawing through our deck at light speed. Maybe we just put in all the like. I mean, Geist is a lot of draw, but maybe we do just focus on like draw until you have 3 cards left in your heap, and they're all boomerangs, and then you just go wild. Um, it's probably okay as a thing. Playing 3 same old things when we've only got account siphons to pull back feels slightly suspicious. But yeah, there you go. There's an Eternal Geist. We don't know if it's any good. I think it's probably not. This definitely needs sorting out. Like this is not correct up here, unfortunately. Um, maybe it should be on Hermes. Like, yeah, tricky to say. Um, how's Janet looking right now? Not amazing. Shall we give it one more go? Feel like it's just been a bit too flaky tonight. I think I'm going to call it for tonight, which is a shame. We didn't really get to play many games, but thanks for all coming and hanging out. And maybe I'll try. I don't know if I got a chance, but if I get a chance, then I'll try and sneak another stream in later this week. I've got my Eternal format game, so if my opponent is happy to play that on stream, then maybe I'll see if I can stream that. Also, assuming that JNet is playing a bit better. Um, but yeah, we'll maybe try and play this again another time because oh yeah, sorry, Titan FA. Yes, indeed, zombie. Okay, here we are. So I think this is where I got to. Um, it's got a ton of Jackson Howers and Spin Doctors. It's got ablative barriers to pull back Cyberdex virus suites and the recursion tools and reconstruction contracts. And you can get to threat free very, very quickly. It has a lot of free twos and slash and burns. It basically has like all the green fast advanced tools. So we've got slash and burns, we've got Ricocos, with Deadies, we've got Audacities. There's pivot because we can pull this stuff to our hand. I've got subcontract in there, just no biotics, no, because I kind of figured that maybe red level is better. Like you can red level out a Jackson Howard or a Spin Doctor, an Audacity and Agenda for like 1 credit or 2 credits. Sometimes one. Oh, with slash and burn, you can do it for nothing as well. I found out. With slash and burn, you can do it for nothing. You can do a 4-2 for nothing. You can slash and burn with an Audacity, 0 credits. Amazing. Not many ice. No. It was actually enough ice when I played. Like the corp has to go super super fast because you're gonna like otherwise you're gonna score out really fast. Pivot seems really fun. Malapert would be good. So originally the plan was one of the reasons for red level was I was going to play Tucana and I was going to play Malapert. I think Malapert is probably more worth putting in and like would be a place to find slots for things that could get like the subcontract is probably a bit too cute. That is for like people who decide to go tag me, so that you can do some pretty wacky stuff. Like you can red level. What was my plan? Oh, my plan was to like pivot. Yeah, my plan like with subcontract in particular, like you can pivot and um Audacity in the same click, or you can pivot and red level in the same click and do some like pretty nut stuff. So you can find another atlas and do stuff. I don't have any tags in here, so this is purely for runners that go tag me. But a lot of criminals do end up like with tags just because they're playing diversion. But anyway, you can get rid of this. The prediction planogram is similarly there because some people just go tag me, and that's like I had an influence to spare. But you can get rid of this, and you could play 2 Malaperts. Friends in High Places is a card, but I think you just put out Malaperts and then they just trash him again, right? Unless because you need to put the Malapert out. You need to put Malapert out the turn that you're going to use it. So it is very good with red level clearance. So yeah, I think like no, I think you potentially also don't even want Rashidas, but oh yeah, Rashida's good with ablative because they probably have to just run your centrals all the time, and then all of a sudden they accidentally run like, and they haven't got a click left, and you ablative out a Rashida. Yeah, you could probably cut quite a lot of this, but I think you could cut the subcontract. The predictive is actually pretty cute and gets you back to 3 credits from 0, which you end up at quite a lot. So I don't hate it. I think the pivots are really good. Like searching for an atlas in hand. Like if you go just hedge funds, I guess you have to put like some protection, but you put like a vanilla on HQ, and then next turn you pivot and pull an atlas to hand. Then what they're going to do? They're going to have to go and find it. Yeah, but maybe like you could cut down to 2 of these. Ablative is situational, 100%, but it like it's really good at pulling back cyberdeck virus tweets, which um which are very good against Clot, obviously. Um, and like you can put one on what's it called? You can put one in archives, and then you can slash and burn your first Atlas out. Um, I also just wanted to play with some new cards. Obviously, like this could be biotic influence. Some of this could be biotic influence. I just not totally sure. Like you have the money for biotic here. Like you might need to play too big to fails, and there's also potentially like a version where you play too big to fail, you play an extra hostile, and uh you play the one which gets cheaper with bad pub, because there's other stuff that you can play to get bad pub in Eternal, which actually might make like gets you to like 4 bad pub very quickly. Uh, like the one that draws you a card and gets you a credit, which is a great card anyway. Uh, I might have to look at what that's called, because that's definitely another option. And you can play. No, you don't even have to play 2 of them because you can almost always pull it off an Atlas. Um, set illegal arms factory, is that it? Yeah, if run attracts illegal arms factory while it is installed, take 1 bad publicity. Um, Gaining a credit and drawing a card is incredibly good for. Ah, you're on it already. Yeah, nice. So, are you on? Um, you're. I'm guessing you're on a version which is playing. What you call it? Which is probably correct. Like this is a. I can't even remember what a regulatory capture. It makes a lot of sense. If you're on like too big to fails and you're on hostiles and you're on regulatory cap, like maybe just 2 regulatories instead of these 2 as Fs. Um, I don't know what you do to cut down. You maybe play another a free one instead of one of the slash and burns or something. Anyway, there's like some interesting options, but yeah, I feel like Titan has some very good options. I kind of want other stuff that isn't an Atlas that I can do, but that's always just me, and it's probably not correct. Probably the correct thing is just find Atlases, score Atlases. I feel like there's something that can be done with. Can you pivot red level Jeeves? Oh, is that a thing? Like if you were to. Oh, but Jeeves doesn't work like wage workers, so you can't red level a Jeeves out and that be one of the clicks. And wage workers doesn't work with doubles, so it doesn't work with pivot balls. I'd like okay, let's have a little look if we can get to see this. Boom. Ah, nuts. I don't think that worked. No. I don't know if you can set. I don't think for some reason I don't think it sends links uh through YouTube. I think it like does a weird thing to them sometimes. Anywho, yeah, Titan could be Titan could be really fun. Oh right, do I need to do it in here? Wait, like deck lists. How do I do it? Search. Uh, and I just see this. So if I do no, but maybe if I open up a different one and then I have to put it here, right? I think something like that. Oh, I'm gonna have one more go. We'll make this work. We'll make this work. Here? No, didn't like it. Sorry, zombie. I'm maybe just not technically minded enough. Right. I'm gonna go to bed. Just paste. I tried that. I'm sure I tried that. Honestly, uh, like here. It doesn't. I'm doing something wrong. Anyway, let me know what you come up with finally, because um, yeah, I think Titan could be quite fun to build, and like it was reasonably fun to play against. My opponent said as well. Like we had a really good game when we played it. So uh, that's it for tonight. I'm gonna go to bed, I think. Hope you all have a great week. Maybe we'll do a sneaky Eternal stream later in the week. We shall find out. All right.